Hi guys, this is another collaboration video, and I know that a lot of you like it when I do these like talky advice type videos, and actually I really enjoy filming them. I really wanted to make this video for a little while and it just happened to be a collaboration at the same time. So I am doing collaboration with Jess from jdrmakeup. Me and Jess have actually collabed before about a year ago when we both did a look with the Naked palette. She did one with the Naked 1 and I did a look with the Naked 2, and we thought, you know what, it's like been a whole year, let's just do another video. I was actually ready to do this advice type video on how to basically tell when your relationship is over, or effectively when you know that you should get out of a relationship. And I just thought a lot of it is from like my own experience, and some of it is from stuff that I've been observing recently in other people's relationships, and I just thought that I would make a video and, you know, just kind of share some stuff so that if people are going through this and they don't know if there's something better out there, then there is, and then basically you should get out. And I don't want loads of angry people going, my girlfriend left me because of you, because that's probably what's going to happen. I'm nearly 30. I've been in relationships before, and when you're younger you don't necessarily see these things, and I just wanted to make a video to tell you, like I said, some of my experience and also some things that I've observed. And I just think if you're going through anything on this list of stuff I'm about to tell you, then you really need to get out of your relationship. I personally wish that someone had told me some of this stuff like when I was younger and dating and going through like relationship issues and stuff. So Jess is actually going to do a video on how to compromise in a relationship and how to effectively keep a relationship going, and I'm going to do signs where you should basically get out of your relationship or you need to do something about it. So the first thing, when you effectively stop making time for each other, that to me is a sign that you should fix it or just get out. Because if you can't be bothered to make the time for each other, you know, you don't really see each other as much, or you stop seeing, like, you don't spend as much time together, it's probably partly because you don't want to. I just think sometimes if you're not making the effort to see each other, what's going to happen later on down the line when you're married and you've got to come home to that person every day? So when you stop making effort and when you stop making time for each other, to me that is quite a big sign that either you need to do something about it or you just need to get out of your relationship. Something quite similar is like when you don't do the small things that you normally would do because it doesn't really matter anymore. So when you first start dating someone, you do lots of kind of little things for them, and you do those kind of things just to make them happy and make them smile, and little things that you know that they would appreciate. And when you stop doing those kind of things for them, I think it kind of means that you don't really want to, and you're not really too worried about whether you make them happy or not. That's just my opinion. But when people stop doing the small things for you, I just think, you know, is that a sign maybe that things are fizzling out? And again, I'm not saying that necessarily this is when you should leave somebody, but this is the signs that I think you should start doing something about it. When you don't call or text once a day and it starts becoming a habit that you don't hear from that person more regularly. So at the beginning you kind of text like as and when, like, the day goes on, you sort of get the occasional text message, or you might ring each other and miss each other's calls. When you don't have time to text or send a call, like miss call somebody, then I think again it's just that, you know, you've got time to do everything during the day. You've got time to go to the toilet, you've got time to blow your nose. Like sending a text message or giving someone a really quick call to say, hey, I miss you, or I'm doing this. When people just don't make the effort and they don't take that time out to kind of text you or just send you a quick phone call or something, I just think again you need to do something to get those feelings back, and you need to try and do something to work at it. But when these things start happening gradually, like I said, sometimes you just think, are they getting bored? Are you getting bored? Is there a reason that these things are happening? And I just think, again, sometimes when people are losing interest, you can tell because they don't want to speak to you as much or they don't contact you as much. It's different if you're busy and you're both going through times, but if it's happening more and more and more and you just don't make that extra effort, then I think, again, it's a little bit of a sign. One thing is when you can't imagine them being the father or the mother of your children. It's really important to me now, especially when I get into a relationship, that I can imagine that person being the father of my children. And I think, again, when you're younger, it's not so much of an issue, but if you kind of look at somebody and you go, would they make a good dad or a good mum, and you can't see that, I just think, again, when you start thinking those things about people and you're like, I don't really think they'd make a very good parent, again, just because I'm older, that these are the sort of things I think about now, and these are kind of really important things to me at the moment. So to me, it's one of those things that if I can't see them being in my future and being the father of my children, it's definitely a sign that I need to get out of the relationship. When there's no physical attraction between you anymore and none of you make the effort, and this can can be just generally like in the way that you dress, or do you dress up for them? Do you occasionally have date nights? Do you, do you buy new underwear, like stuff for them? Do you like go out of your way to make them feel attractive? Do you compliment them and stuff? And if you don't feel like you want to be intimate with them, or you don't feel like, kissing's no longer like a nice thing that you do, and there's no like affection because you're no longer like attracted to that person, you need to kind of get that back. I think it's really important, especially when you're going to be with somebody for the next like 20 years of your life. If you've lost that physical attraction and you just don't really make the effort, I just think, again, it's one of those things. I mean, that's, to me, that's when people start cheating and stuff. It's just, I don't know, like, I just think there are lots of things you can do to make yourself more attractive for that person. And I think that's quite a big thing. I think you do need to carry on making the effort with each other. When you stop communicating, I think that's another really big thing. So when you stop talking about your feelings and you stop being honest and open with them about how you feel, so if something bothers you and you don't tell them about it, I think that can cause a lot of tension. And I think people can tell when somebody's upset with the other person, and I'm really bad at doing this, because if I'm generally upset about something, I don't generally say it. I kind of keep it to myself, and then it just festers, and then I just end up taking stuff out on them. Communication, as I've learnt like recently, is a really big thing, and I'm like a child. I like to just have like little tantrums and stuff, but communication is one of those massive things that the person I'm dating at the moment is like teaching me. And like, if there is something that upsets me, I'm not generally a very confrontational person. I don't generally say something, but definitely need to start communicating a little bit more. If you're kind of like no longer excited about seeing that person, so say like you haven't seen them for 2 weeks and you're really not that bothered. If you're not that bothered, like, why are you in that relationship? So if you kind of start getting lazy and you think, I can't be bothered to drive to come and see you, or they can't be bothered to drive to come and see you, I just think if you're not excited to see each other, it's just, I think you should always be excited about seeing the person that you're dating. You should always be excited about spending time with them. And if you're not, then I just think maybe you shouldn't be in that relationship anymore. Another thing is, obviously, this is number 8. So this is like a big thing. If he's like physically abusive or like verbally abusive towards you, then you definitely need to get out. Like, any guy that calls you names or pushes you or hits you or anything like that, you just, there's no, like, this is like one of those serious ones. And I think no guy should ever put his hand on a woman, like, ever, ever, ever. And I think it's really important that you know that that's not normal, and that's not something that a respectable guy would do. And I just think that is like one of the biggest signs to like, you need to get out of that relationship, and the relationship's over. You just need to walk away. As hard as it may be at the time, you just think about the number of people that don't go through that and have really affectionate, caring, loving boyfriends that would never ever harm them. Why should you not get the same thing? Well, why should you get somebody that thinks it's okay to hit you? That is like a really big thing of mine. Even guys that shout at their girlfriends, like, I just don't deal with. I mean, I've been shouted at by boyfriends in the past, and it's horrible. And there are guys out there that wouldn't shout at all, and I never thought it was normal. Like, I just thought, oh, every guy shouts at his girlfriend. It's just what they do. But no, it's not. It's really not. Like, it's not what every person does. And I think if that, if you feel like at all scared of like the person that you're with, like, whether they're angry or not, or you're scared about what they're gonna say, I just think, again, you shouldn't be in that relationship if he makes you feel like that. The next thing is, if he borrows money off you and he never pays you back, and it starts to become a habit. So if he's constantly borrowing money off you and then constantly saying, yeah babe, I'll pay you back next week, I'll pay you back next week, and you consistently do not get paid back, and then he guilt trips you into giving you more money, you need to get out. Like, you're basically just being used. And again, I've been in that situation before, and I'm stupid, and I've totally learnt from that. I wouldn't be that person anymore, but this was, a long time ago. And again, I just think that's not something that a guy should do. Like, and if you've lent somebody money, I wouldn't lend them money again until they've paid you back. And I know guys have this really twisted way of kind of like making you feel really emotionally blackmailed, and you feel so awful. They'll make up all sorts of excuses. Just the best thing to say is just that you don't have the money. And I just think if a guy's consistently borrowing money off you, especially when he's not paying it back, you need to get out. Or if he's consistently asking you to pay for everything when you go out, then you just need to get out, because he's just a waste. There's a guy that acts different around you when his mates are around. So as soon as a guy starts treating you like shit when you're around his mates, like, you just need to get out. That guy has no respect for you whatsoever. He is just using you. He's just using you so that it's something to talk about with his mates when you're not there. Oh, and he will talk crap about you. He will use derogatory terms and to describe you. And the kind of guy that treats you differently in front of his mates is just an absolute waste, and you just need to get out. So if he is horrible to you, or if he picks on you and he makes his mates laugh in front of you, you just need to get out. Another thing is like when you're no longer attracted to their smell. I think that's quite a big thing. I like, you know, general nuzzling into like my boyfriend's neck or whoever I'm dating at the time, and if you just generally don't feel happy when you're around them and you don't get excited about that kind of stuff, again, I just think, I don't know, I just think these things fizzle out really quickly, and I just think you need to do something to just bring the spark back. The next thing is like when he stops holding your hand and kissing your forehead. I think those are quite big, small signs of affection when a guy kisses your forehead and holds your hand. I think that means that he really, really does care about you. And when a guy stops doing all that kind of really cute, affectionate kind of stuff that us girls like, he's not affectionate when you're just the two of you alone, and I just think, okay, you just need to go, because, you know, he might just be there for one thing and he might not do all the other little things that girls love. When you lose respect and stop compromising, so when you lose respect for each other and you don't listen to each other and you're not willing to, you know, go out of your way or do something a bit different to keep that person happy. For example, if my boyfriend wanted to go and watch a football match and I really have no interest in football at all, but he really wanted me to be there because it was a big game. Number one, I don't know why he'd invite me anyway, but if he did, you know, I would go because it's the fact that it's really important to him. And when you stop doing that kind of stuff, or when he doesn't do that kind of stuff for you, basically don't have that respect for each other, in my opinion, and that is just something that you need to find. You need to have somebody that you've got respect for. Number 14 is like, go on your instinct. If you feel like somebody's no good for you, they're probably no good for you. If you feel like somebody's cheating on you and they make you feel that insecure that you feel like they're cheating, they probably are. Like, I know that sounds really awful, but most of the time when I think someone's cheating, they have been. So I think with girls we have this whole instinct. I mean, it's kind of different if you're like a complete psycho and you just get paranoid about everything, and if you're getting that feeling because of stuff they've done in the past, or if you've got friends that you just think are not a very good influence on, the chances are until they get out of that group of friends, they're not going to be doing what's best for you all the time. Number 15 is a guy or a girl that makes you feel any different than just being yourself. So if you have to change to make somebody happy, you cannot be in that relationship at all. And that is one thing I've definitely learned. Like at the beginning, I used to go on these dates and I used to try and be this like really polite girl that didn't swear and just ate salad and blah blah blah, and I did all of that kind of stuff. As soon as you go on a date where you have to act like somebody else, you've got to keep that up, and that's really difficult to do. So I think if you go on a date and you're just totally yourself and someone just wants you the way that you are, you've definitely got someone that's worth keeping there. But if you go on a date and you're acting some sort of different character and somebody likes you for that, you're not going to be happy, because you're going to have to, you know, you're going to have to be someone else and you're going to have to pretend, and it's just going to be really sucky for you. Number 16, if he doesn't want to spend time with you and his friends, so say if he doesn't want you mingling with his friends and him, obviously if his friends are important to him, he would be happy to have you spending time with him and them together. If he just wants alone time with his friends and he doesn't want you around, I sometimes think that's a little bit weird. I understand like if it's, I mean, this is speaking from like as a girl's point of view, but I understand that if they're going to the pub and having a lads night, yeah, I wouldn't want to be invited. But if I knew that there were going to be other girlfriends there and I wasn't invited, then I would think, like, what is going on? Like, why doesn't he want me mingling with his friends? And again, it could be, you know, that whole not trusting them. It could be like just generally they don't want you around because they're not interested. They don't want to show you off. They're not that bothered about having you around. Or the fact that they don't care enough to like, I think that's quite a big deal. I think you should know their friends. Number 17 is if he wants to hook up with you at night in a car and not during the day. I mean, like guys I've dated when I was younger that were just sort of after one thing, they would only meet up with me in the evening, and obviously they would kind of try it on. A guy that doesn't want to have anything to do with you during the day is a complete waste of space, and you just need to leave them. Number 18 is when a guy doesn't want to meet your family if you've been together quite a long time. If a guy doesn't want to meet your family and you've been together like over a year and he doesn't actually want to meet your family, it's because he's not planning on sticking around, and that's just, to me, that's quite an obvious thing. It's not the whole commitment thing, it's not being scared, it's just the fact that he's not planning on sticking around. I can't see any other reason why, if you've been with someone quite a long time, they wouldn't want to be part of your family, they wouldn't want to meet your parents. I understand with some cultures it's not respectable to bring a guy home or introduce a guy, and that's fine. If your parents are quite chilled out and you do suggest that they meet your parents, or he picks you up from your house and he doesn't want to, I just think, again, is it just because you're not planning on sticking around? Number 19 obviously is a big one. If he cheats on you, I personally would never forgive him, because with me, I've been cheated on in the past and it completely completely ruins a relationship. I can't regain that trust again. I will never trust that person again fully, no matter what they say, no matter what they do. And in the back of my head, I will not be happy because I will always be worrying about other stuff. So to me, like, if you cheat, you've totally lost my trust. Like, at the beginning, I generally don't trust anyone, and that you kind of build up your trust with me, whereas a lot of people just meet someone, they trust people straight away. You build up, like, you have no trust to start with. You kind of build up your trust, and then it's really, you've got to basically maintain the trust. And if you cheat or do something equally as bad, you just kind of lose my trust altogether. And to me, it's not worth starting again. I don't think necessarily people that cheat regularly can actually stop, because sometimes I think it's like a bit of an adrenaline thing. I generally wouldn't go back to somebody that's cheated on me because I just wouldn't be happy. I mean, they might have completely changed, they might completely be a different person, but I know what I'm like, and I'm quite an insecure person. If I can't get over that, then I don't see how I could move on from that. Number 20 is if he uses derogatory terms like bitch and whore to describe you or call you or say in front of his mate. So if any guy ever has an argument with you and he describes you as a bitch or a whore or a slut or any horrible words like that, then like you just need to get out. Like, no respectable man, no decent guy, nobody worth bringing home to your parents, nobody worth marrying would ever call you names like that. No one would ever call you a bitch. If you have a guy that calls you names, complete waste. Also, just generally guys that don't want to do anything for you. So, you know, you have to go and get them, you have to go and pick them up, you have to go and pay for stuff. You know, there are some really wasteful people out there in the world, and I just think if a guy doesn't do anything for you but then you're expected to do everything for him, I think that is just a sure sign that you just have no respect for yourself and you need to get out. And like I said, I've been in that situation before where I have dated people that have not done anything for me, but I've been so into like just keeping them happy that I haven't realised that actually I get nothing back from the relationship at all. And this is where, like I said, it's taken me like almost 30 years to get there, and now I know exactly what I'm looking for. Please go and watch Jess's video. I will put her link in the description bar below. And like I said, she's going to make a video on compromising in a relationship and generally how to keep a relationship going, because, you know, it is about compromise. At the end of the day, you're two different people from two different backgrounds, and, you know, you're not going to be absolutely completely compatible. You're going to have arguments, you're going to have disagreements, and it's just about working through those things, which if you don't get that, then you really are not going to have a successful relationship. So Jess is going to talk to you about that kind of stuff. So like I said, this video wasn't meant to be like funny, it was just generally like my own experiences and stuff, but I really wanted to get this video out there for people that are in these situations, and if any of these points or several of these points apply to you, then I really do think that there is so much better out there for you, and you can find somebody that will treat you like a princess and someone that you're going to be really happy with. But if you can relate to like several of the points, like one or more of the points that I've said today, don't be scared to get out of the relationship. There's really good guys out there. You just have to wait, and it's generally believe in fate, and it will happen when it's meant to happen. So thank you so much for watching my video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hi guys, this is another collaboration video, and I know that a lot of you like it when I do these like talky advice type videos.